Saranam Saranakaram.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Have a visual. Is there a visual switch I can push? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. We want to welcome everyone. I'm on my phone. I'm not sure exactly why I'm not getting the visual.
Turn your camera.
Is my camera on? Venkat? Prabhu?
No, it's not on.
Okay. Would like to allow. Thank you.
Prabhu, your audio is also not very clear.
Well, what we'll do is, Prabhu, is we're going to have a special show this evening. How's that? Is that a bit better? One, use hand gestures to send reactions.
Just close it with this arrow.
Okay, sorry. Here we are. Okay. How's that, Prabhu?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay, thank you. So, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. We're new with this technology. I'm making a cross-Canada trip.
Looks like Vishwakarma Prabhu got disconnected. We'll just wait for him to reconnect.
Sorry about that. Slightly technical difficulty. We're going to move forward with the program right away, and we're having a special program tonight to remember our dear godbrother of Prakrita, Prabhu, who joined the Montreal Temple when I was there in 1973, I believe it was. And the day, yesterday was his disappearance day from this world. Surprisingly, we had no notice that that would happen. So we're going to devote part of the program to him this evening, and we'll move forward right away with our reading from the diaries of Srila Prabhupada back in 1965. So if we could go to the pictures, Prabhu, please. So here we have the beginning of the Sankirtan movement in the Western world. The dates are given there. The 1966 New York journals with these Prabhupada, and there he is with all his disciples. Go to the next one, please. There we have the beginning, the glorious beginning of America. And again, next photo, please. Here we have the front cover of the book. There it shows the storefront. And here are the chapters. And Kadvata, could you read out the chapter titles for us?
Okay, so the introduction,
Yeah.
then chapter 1 is the Upper West Side, chapter 2, the Bowery, chapter 3, 26 Second Avenue, chapter 4 is Memoranda and Accounts, 5 is Epilogue, and 6 is Excerpts.
So we're going to go through all of these sections of the programs here at Hare Krishna Society YouTube channel. What we're going to do is move right into the reading of the introduction. And for, based on the situation I'm in the car, we're going to bounce around in my limited vision. I'm going to have Nityānanda to please read the introduction.
His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada had been in America 4 months when he began this 1966 diary of his daily notes and accounts. During the previous year, Srila Prabhupada had kept a record of his voyage from India, which had been published by the Bhaktivedanta Archives as the Jaladuta Diary. Srila Prabhupada later described the early part of the 1966 period recounted in this diary as one of hardship, having no money or followers, nor the means to live independently, and often alone with limited opportunities for preaching. Srila Prabhupada sometimes contemplated going back to India. Srila Prabhupada's resolve is evidenced by the purchase of his first tape recorder, a major expenditure for him. He started recording his classes, kirtans, and bhajans. He wrote in his journal, "There was no response of the visitors invited to come and join Hari Kirtan this evening at 7:30 p.m., but I alone executed the kirtan ceremony with my tape recorder till 10 p.m. Srila Prabhupada's prescience in preserving his spoken word has resulted in a permanent legacy of over 2,000 hours of invaluable tape recordings. Despite austere circumstances, Srila Prabhupada had faith in his mission and in the end was rewarded with unimaginable successes. The Srila Prabhupada Leelamrita, the official biography published in several languages, portrays many of these extraordinary events. However, the author of the Leelamrita did not know about the existence of this 1966 diary, and so omitted some episodes that Srila Prabhupada had dutifully recorded. The beginning, the 1966 journal of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, presents for the first time the exact sequence of these seminal events and the specific details of the initial year of Srila Prabhupada's mission to the West. We have divided the journal section of the book into 3 chapters, corresponding to the 3 places where Srila Prabhupada stayed in Manhattan. A summary for each chapter has been added to provide readers with insights into the events described. The editors have combined entries that are brief on the same page. Pages of the journal that do not contain entries by Srila Prabhupada are not reproduced. Each month begins with a highlights page that contains short excerpts from some of the pages of the diary to give an at-a-glance view of the month. The epilogue narrates what happened to the Matchless Gifts shop after Srila Prabhupada left in the beginning of 1967 to go to the West Coast. How ISKCON New York eventually acquired the hallowed storefront and the vibrant preaching activities presently taking place are also depicted. Very few pictures of Srila Prabhupada were taken in 1966 in New York. Only the photos from newspaper articles and some excerpts from amateur 16mm films exist in the archives. Because most of these pictures were published previously in the Srila Prabhupada Leelamrita Volume 2, we have included some pictures taken after 1966, which we feel evoke the mood of that year. This book includes other items of interest, such as letters written to Srila Prabhupada cited in the journal. The replies to these letters are published elsewhere, so are not included. Wherever possible, we identify the persons Srila Prabhupada names in his journal. The first newspaper accounts about Srila Prabhupada and the impact of his activities are replicated. Also appended is a poem by Hayagriva Das because it expresses the spirit of the early days on 2nd Avenue. It was to the care of Bali Mardan Das that this journal, as well as Srila Prabhupada's 1965 Jaladuta diary, devolved in the early 70s. He deposited both diaries in a secured storage. When the Bhaktivedanta archives expressed interest in publishing them, Bali Mardan Das lent the original books for reproduction. Eventually, these will be preserved and permanently displayed. We gratefully acknowledge Janava Devidasi for her paintings, Bhaktin Alexandra for her drawings, Maya Priya Devidasi for the design and layout of the book and cover, Nandi Mukhi Devidasi for the epilogue, Brahmananda Das for editorial assistance, Bhaktin Martha for the events calendar, and all others who have helped to produce this publication. The beginning, the 1966 journal of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, is a personal chronicle of the founding of the Hare Krishna movement, the Western branch of Gaudiya Vaishnavism. This book is a true annal of the courage and purity of a saint, and we trust that it will inspire all who read it. The publishers.
Yes, will inspire us as we read forward with this. Study Prabhupada's difficult but determined efforts to succeed in propagating Krishna consciousness back in the 60s and the 70s until November 14th, his departure date from the material plane. So we want to thank you, Nityānanda, for reading it. It's very helpful this evening. And in a somber mood, of course, with the passing of Prakrita Prabhu in Montreal, we're going to carry on with the program. We're going to ask for Nityānanda to please play the Jaya Radha Madhava Bhajan, and then we'll move forward, and Yashodananda in Point Heart, California, will present the reading and discussion of Chaitanya Charya reading on this Wednesday night, coming from Eastern Canada. Hare Krishna, all glories to Shri.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Kunja Bihari Jashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Banachari Jamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Banachari Yamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Amaswa Paramahansa Paribhrajagacharya Sattvaresvara Samadhati Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Bhagavad Ki Jai Ananta Kodi Vaishnava Ki Jai Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityānanda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivāsari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Radha Krishna Mo Gopinath Sam Khand Radha Khand Giridhar Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadvip Dham Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Jamuna Mai Ki Jai Guru Dwarka Dham Ki Jai Swami Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai All glories to the Assembly. All glories to the Assembly. Thank you very much.
All glories to you, Srila Prabhupada. All glories to you, Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. O my Lord, Sri Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, the all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you from Srimad Bhagavatam 1:1:1. Narayanam namaskrityam Narayanam namaskrityam Naram cheva narottamam Naram cheva narottamam Devim saraswatim vyasam Devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayat Tato jayam mudirayat. One should utter the means of conquest, Srimad Bhagavatam and Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, after offering respectful obeisances, 1. To the personality of Godhead, Narayana,
2, to the Narayana Rishi, who is the supermost human being. 3, to the Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning. Then 4, to Srila Vyasadeva, the author, from Srimad Bhagavatam 1 to 4. Welcome everyone to this reading and discussion on Srimad Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Thank you very much, Vishwakarma Prabhu, for starting the program. I apologize for being a little late, a little mishap on the hill here today. One of my neighbor had a breakdown, and it was actually his truck was blocking the hill, and I had to go out and get some petroleum products to get the truck out of the way. So anyway, but what is more important is the significance of this day today. Besides the reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, one of the things that we will be doing is celebrating the passing of a very exalted Vaishnava, Apakrita Prabhu. It came as a great surprise to all of us to hear that yesterday Apakrita passed away. He just had moved from his residence in a part of Montreal to a special retirement facilities where his sister had been living. And this was next to a temple of Lord Buddha. And I was corresponding with him practically on a daily basis in French about this event and the tremendous difficulty in this whole move. But he was surprisingly always focused on Srila Prabhupada and his preaching mission. For those of you who may have known Apakrita, he had been initiated by Srila Prabhupada in the early 1970s in Montreal. And after the passing away of Srila Prabhupada in 1977, and the various changes which took place in the society, he took it upon himself to preach in French and distribute books in French through various media, through lectures, through his preaching programs, eventually developing a newsletter, even developing a website and a YouTube program where he would explain short clips of the meaning of Krishna consciousness in French. He also had a japa session called Japa du Midi, or Japa at noon, where he would chant japa with the devotees for a few minutes, very briefly, with a very brief explanation. I went on there a few times with him, very, very blissful. Apakrita was very close. He was also very close to Nandikeshwar Prabhu and his family. And he would organize every year a small Ratha Yatra in Montreal called a mini Ratha Yatra. He would get permission from the city of Montreal to do this in the park. And oh, wonderful, Venkat Bhatta Prabhu, thank you so much. This is the picture of him with the hat on, and he's bringing the Ratha Yatra cart through the park, along with many devotees that were very supportive of his activities. Here we go. And he has Lord Jagannath and Srila Prabhupada on the cart. He is there with his bag, and a devotee holding an umbrella. Very, very nice. Here in the third picture below, we see that Apakrita is doing a special Abhishek for Srila Prabhupada on a very, very special occasion. For those of you who may not know, I had the chance to live with Apakrita in his small apartment in Montreal. In 2008, my father at the time in Quebec City was dying, and I had to go to Apakrita for 1 or 2 days before driving to Quebec City. And what happened is Apakrita, I did not realize this till I was living in his place. He was such an amazing devotee that at 2:30 in the morning, he would get up, take a quick bath, and start chanting. And he would chant straight 25 rounds. He was not on the 16 level. He was at the 25 solid rounds. And these not rounds like that were spaced out. You're very audible, very blissful. He would cook. He would purchase all of his own ingredients, boga, do his own cooking, arrange to offer the boga to his little deities. He had little Gornitai deities, nice Prabhupada deities. He was quite an exceptional devotee. So next, we have a picture, after this picture of Prakrita worshiping Srila Prabhupada, with a young girl. I do not know who this is.
It's his daughter.
His
Looks
daughter.
like.
Oh, very wonderful. Wonderful. And then I believe is that
This
his
is
daughter,
with wife.
his wife. Okay. And this his brother. Oh, Rathayatra from India. Very
Yes.
nice. Good. Prakrita used to visit Montreal, not Montreal, but South India. He would go to South India. He stayed several times at the ISKCON Bangalore temple, and he would visit with Rathayatra Prabhu at certain holy places in South India. He was very dedicated to these sacred tirthas. And next we have Prakrita and another devotee on the bench. I don't know who this is. He's got this beautiful
Doing
bag called
Sankirtan.
Yes, doing some Samkirtan in the park. It is very, very, very nice and enlivening. He was always busy. For those of you who may not know, I have a whole archive of newsletters that I've received from Prakrita all the way back to 2008. Every single day he would send me these documents. He would publish this newsletter both in French and English, because he was preaching to people in Quebec as well as people in Switzerland and Europe, in France and Europe. So then, any other pictures here? Oh, yes.
Prabhu, yeah, I think that might be his brother, who's also an initiated disciple of Sri Prabhupada.
Yes.
He joined in
Yes.
1973 when I was there, and he got initiated during that time of our stay
Yes.
in Montreal. So it's his brother,
Yeah.
but does anyone know his brother's name? It amazes me.
I don't know.
Okay, thank you. Sorry.
So
Go
I
ahead,
met
please.
this brother when I visited there with Prakrita for 2 days in 2008 in Montreal. I met with his brother and we had long discussions about Prabhupada and his teachings, and especially over this issue of the importance of maintaining the originality of Srila Prabhupada's books. Prakrita was a major proponent of this issue, even with the French Bhagavad Gita. He was distributing French Bhagavad Gitas all the time. And every year with Nandikeshwar Prabhu, who would come to this mini Rathayatra in Montreal in some park, they would hold a beautiful Samkirtan, and many devotees would come to this little Rathayatra. Sometimes a crowd of 30, 35, 40 devotees would come, all, followers of Srila Prabhupada. And his brother was there. There was another devotee named Bhakta Berg, B-E-R-G, who also was very supportive of Prakrita in Montreal. And he had a group of devotees. He started a group called Amida Krishna, Friends of Krishna, which was basically reaching out to different adults and people living outside, people with work jobs and everything, and keeping them enlivened when all kinds of news. I mean, I literally have hundreds, if not thousands, of these. I've kept every one of them in my archives of Prakrita with his preaching. Every single day, he would pick a specific topic from Prabhupada's books, and he would take a purport or a letter or a conversation and present that topic, whether it was about Krishna, Lord Chaitanya, you're not the body, Lord Chaitanya is the incarnation of Krishna. Every single day, there would be a different topics, and it would be brief, but very catchy. He would have a beautiful picture that he would put together from the internet or whatever, And then he would put that quote from Srila Prabhupada, and there would be a different topic every single day, constantly. I mean, this went on till literally 2 days ago. I mean, he was just remarkably steady in his preaching, in his service to Srila Prabhupada, a very, very exemplary devotee. It's a great loss for the world to have such an elevated Vaishnava as Apakrita leave so suddenly. But he left on Srila Prabhupada's appearance day, which is also very significant. This is a very special, auspicious day to leave the body, considering the sacred appearance day of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, our dear spiritual master. I mean, up to about 3 days ago, Apakrita was corresponding with me in French about his impression of that new place, about his adjustment to that new place. And he wrote certain things in French, which I forwarded to Venkatapati Prabhu, basically expressing that he felt that the time was coming near, that his time was basically finishing. I don't know if we can reproduce those on the screen, Venkatapati Prabhu. If we can, that would be
Okay,
wonderful.
I'll try.
Okay. Now, these statements from Apakrita were done in French, and Venkatapati Prabhu, through his skill, managed to some way or other translate them into English. Dr. Ron in Sacramento. So how was Prabhu's body? I believe he was 76 or 78 years old. He did have some issue with some cancer. For a lot of people, prostate is a big issue, as Vishwakarma Prabhu very well knows. Okay, so this is a message on April 10th, 2011, and this is his old email address. Okay, let me translate this in English here. He says, I spoke with you yesterday by telephone, and I'm undergoing very difficult moments. He says, something happened to me a few days ago that really, verily affected me. When I woke up, I had a big headache and some throat problem. And the headache was very, very strong. I rarely have headaches. And whenever I went to the washroom, I had great difficulty of walking. Now, bear in mind, this is in 2011, quite some time back. My legs were folding, and I believe that I was falling on the ground. I feel that I was in the process of losing my capacities. So that feeling resembled death. This has passed, but since that time, I have been in anxiety and some fear. I think of the agony, and various thoughts, negative thoughts, cross my mind. I don't know if I am alone with this agony or if there is somebody else that can help me in my last moments. I will be 64 this summer. This was quite some time back, mind you, but he's expressing what is going on. I am no longer young, and death is approaching me each day. This is a reality that is not very pleasing at confronting. Finally, a man of 75 years old in my environment has recently died of a cardiac arrest in his dream, in his sleep. This can happen to everyone. That is troubling. But in this present time in my mind, I am remembering numerous instructions of Srila Prabhupada. The most important is to be sure to chant the Maha Mantra, and this will make us happy in whatever situation. He is their true refuge, and this is the person to free us from all anxieties. We have to verily hurry to discover what Srila Prabhupada has come to teach us. This is a gift which is unparalleled. But we have to unwrap the gift. The best thing to do is to verily discover the happiness of the glorification of the names of Krishna. There is no other way, there is no other way, there is no other way. We are in a bad situation. At the same time, we have the solution. We have to put in practice and truly discover what is Krishna consciousness as soon, as rapidly as possible. These are a few thoughts that I wanted to share with you, with the hope that you can help me discover the true happiness of Krishna consciousness. Aprakrita Das, special for book distributors. So this is, this was part of his intimate moment quite some time back. Aprakrita would sometimes have amazing realizations as part of his very strict sadhana and very deep contemplation on Srila Prabhupada and preaching. He was always thinking of some kind of preach. And whenever I would speak to him in French, he would express to me his ideas of how to preach this way, how to preach that way, how to preach to people in Switzerland, how to preach to people in France, how to preach to people in Holland, because in Europe, there are many people that speak French. And he was quite active in Quebec. But he was always thinking of new ways and means to distribute books, to expand his newsletters, to bring people to Krishna. He also developed a series of small YouTube little videos, cooking, explaining people how to make chapatis, how to make puris, how to make halva, how to make sweet rice, how to make certain types of vegetables. He was actually a very good cook. He had these beautiful Gornitai deities, very, very steady like a rock. And he would express these feelings every time we taught. So this is a very big shock that he departed so suddenly. Do we have anything else to display, Venkat Prabhu, about Aprakrita's correspondence or anything?
There was a post that he wrote about himself. We can read that if you like.
Sure.
Okay.
Hare Krishna. A post from Aprakrita Prabhu's website about himself, translated from French. Who is Aprakrita Das? Hare Krishna. On a few occasions, subscribers to the Daily News have asked various questions about me. It is not the custom of devotee to talk about himself, but to inform you, here is some information about me. I am a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, the founder of the Hare Krishna movement since 1966, actually. I joined this movement with my wife, and we had a child, a nice girl, who in turn had 4 children. So I am a grandfather several times. Today, at the age of 69, 2016, and living alone, I devote myself more to spiritual life. My day begins very early in the morning, and every day I recite a minimum of 16 rounds of japa, recommended by my spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, founder of the Krishna consciousness movement. Of course, I also follow the 4 basic principles, namely no meat consumption, no intoxicants, no sex, and finally, no gambling. By following these principles and reciting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, the material illusion gradually reduces its hold on us. It is therefore possible to expand one's consciousness to finally attain pure love of God. Not so easy, because Maya or illusion would like to keep us all under its control. We must therefore persevere despite the many temptations. Also, as you all know, I am the one who prepares and sends out the daily news every day. So this occupies a large part of my thoughts. I have to read Srila Prabhupada's books and also listen to some of his lectures daily in order to keep the philosophy of Krishna consciousness continually present in my mind. Since 1976, I left the movement for a while to come back in 1999. Since that time, I have devoted myself to preaching. I love what I do. I would not change places with anyone, not even with the richest materialist. My standard of living is reduced to a minimum so as to not take up too much time for my personal maintenance. My life is dedicated to helping others progress spiritually and gradually discover the happiness that we all seek. Srila Prabhupada left the village of Vrindavan, India at the age of 69 to come and help people all over the world discover happiness. He did it for the pleasure of his spiritual master. In turn, I seek to please Srila Prabhupada. Of course, I am far from having a desire as intense as he does. The only merit I can have is to want to try to please him a little. Srila Prabhupada is the greatest of spiritual masters, and I feel great joy in making him known to all, and also in accepting him as their spiritual master. Even if he's no longer physically present with us, his presence is manifest in his instructions. Srila Prabhupada said that we must let the spiritual master into our hearts. He himself never felt the separation from his guru, even though the guru had left the planet long ago. The relationship with the spiritual master is not a material relationship. It can progress even if he's no longer present in this world. Even a newcomer to Krishna consciousness can accept Srila Prabhupada into his heart and thus become his disciple. It is a matter of letting him into his heart, and it is not a matter of physical presence. Srila Prabhupada met his spiritual master only a few times and did so much for him, and that was without even seeing him regularly. The same is possible for all of us. Just let him into your heart. I have several preaching projects in my mind. Sometimes some come true, and sometimes others do not. In all this, one must learn that Krishna is in control of everything. It is said in one of the verses of the Shikshastaka, which summarizes the philosophy left by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, complete is his freedom to act as he pleases in all circumstances. No matter the results, one must always act with the aim of pleasing Krishna. The purpose of devotional service is to purify ourselves to finally attain true devotional service, called in Sanskrit Bhakti Yoga, or loving and devoted service offered to Krishna. In my small apartment, I continually play Srila Prabhupada's CDs. In the evening, I end the day by reading a few verses from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Throughout the night, without interruption, I leave the compact disc of Srila Prabhupada reciting the Maha Mantra playing. When I wake up, the first sounds I hear are the vibrations of my spiritual master reciting the Maha Mantra. So from the first moments of the day, I remember that I am practicing the process of Bhakti Yoga. This helps me enormously. And after a good shower, I start again in this for the coming day, the preaching projects. Every day I answer emails from subscribers, people from France, Switzerland, Hungary, Quebec, make my life exciting. They're all a great source of joy for me. I'm very happy to be in contact with them. Not all of them write to me, but I know that even if many are silent, they appreciate the daily news because many of these people have been receiving it for several years. Some of you helped me spread this spiritual message from another world. They do it in different ways, and all these ways are accepted by Sri Krishna because they please Srila Prabhupada. My desire is to encourage as many people as possible to do a little something for Krishna, because then these people will be recognized by him. In this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. Bhagavad Gita 2:40. Whatever we do for Krishna will never be forgotten by him. Everything is recorded in our spiritual bank account. Also in the Gita, verses 4:11, all of them as they surrender unto me, I reward accordingly. It is not in vain that we act for Krishna. He takes note of everything. Nothing goes unnoticed. I am happy to have shared with you these few thoughts, and I thank you very much for your good presence. You are a great source of inspiration for me. Your servant, Apagridadas. Hare Krishna. So we can proceed
Yes.
with. Go ahead, Prabhu. Go ahead.
I wanted to mention to all of us here at the group that Aprakrita was one of the most diligent people to attend the Prabhupada Disciples Association Hare Krishna Society classes. And he had tremendous appreciation for all of our work in trying to protect Prabhupada's legacy through these efforts that we're making. So a lot of people, they criticize us on many levels. This goes on in life no matter what. We understand that. But these words that Aprakrita has spoken in these letters that have been spoken this evening reveal this person as truly a pure soul in the service of Sri Prabhupada. Anyone who hears them carefully can understand the depth of his realizations and the depth of his sincerity in serving Srila Prabhupada and his disciples. You know, recently Yashoda Nandana Prabhu, he sent me some cards to promote the Hamilton Hare Krishna Center, some bookmarks, and I have them treasured now at my ashram. He sent me cases of Bhagavad Gitas that he had received, softbound books, no charge, just wanted to help me in any way that he could and express his appreciation for our time together back in the 70s. So it's beyond words. Let's open the discussion to others to speak.
Hare Krishna.
Let's open the discussion from the panel and other people can speak. Can you look at the list brother, I can't see it on the phone because I'm on the highway. But could you possibly check the list of guests and see if someone would like to speak?
Would anyone like to speak some few words in appreciation of our Prakriti Prabhu? Okay, we could go ahead with reading a few our verses from the Chaitanya Charitamrita or regular class.
That would
We
be
can hear.
excellent. That'll be excellent. Let's carry on.
Yeah. So let us carry on with that. I believe we are reading from Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila, chapter 5, text number 13. Mayatite vyapi vaikunta loke purnaishvarye Sri Chaturu Vyuha Madhye Rupam Yasodbhati Sankarsanakyam Tam Sri Nityānanda Ramam Prapadye. Mayatiti, beyond the material creation, Vyapi, all expanding, Vaikunta Loke, in Vaikunta Loka, the spiritual world, Purna Eshvarye, endowed with full opulence, Sri Chatu Vyuha Madhye, in the quadruple expansions, Vasudeva, Sankarsana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha, Rupam, form, Yasya, whose, Udbhati, appears, Sankarsana Akyam, known as Sankarsana, Tam, to him, Sri Nityānanda Ramam, to Lord Balarama, in the form of Lord Nityānanda, Prapadye, I surrender. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. I surrender unto the lotus feet of Sri Nityānanda Rama, who is known as Sankarsana in the midst of the Chatur Vyuha, consisting of Vasudeva, Sankarsana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. He possesses full opulences and resides in Vaikuntha Loka, far beyond the material creation. Text number purport. This is a verse from Sri Swarup Damodar Goswami's diary. It appears as the 8th of the first 14 verses of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Text 14. Prakritira para paravyoma nama dham Krishna vigraha yoeche vibhuti adi gunavan. Prakritiram, the material nature. Para, beyond. Paravyoma, the spiritual sky. Name, in name. Dhamma, the place. Krishna Vigraha, the form of Lord Krishna. Yaiche, just as. Vibhuti Adi, like the 6 opulences. Gunavan, full with transcendental attributes. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Beyond the material nature lies the realm known as Paravyoma, the spiritual sky. Like Lord Krishna himself, it possesses all transcendental attributes such as the 6 opulences. Purport. According to Sankhya philosophy, the material cosmos is composed of 24 elements. The 5 gross material elements, the 3 subtle material elements, the 5 knowledge-acquiring senses, the 5 active senses, the 5 objects of sense pleasure, and the Mahat Tattva, the total material energy. Empiric philosophers unable to go beyond these elements speculate that anything beyond them must be avyakta or inexplicable. But the world beyond the 24 elements is not inexplicable, for it is explained in Bhagavad Gita as the eternal Sanatana nature. Beyond the manifested and unmanifested existence of material nature, vyakta avyakta, is the sanata nature, which is called the paravyoma, or the spiritual sky. Since that nature is spiritual in quality, there are no qualitative differences there. Everything there is spiritual, everything is good, and everything possesses the spiritual form of Sri Krishna himself. That spiritual sky is the manifested internal potency of Sri Krishna. It is distinct from the material sky, manifested by his external potency. The all-pervading Brahman, the impersonal glowing ray of Sri Krishna, exists in the spiritual world with the Vaikuntha planets. We can get some idea of that spiritual sky by a comparison to the material sky, for the rays of the sun in the material sky can be compared to the Brahmajyoti, the glowing ray of the personality of Godhead. In the Brahmajyoti, there are unlimited Vaikuntha planets, which are spiritual and therefore self-luminous, with a glow many times greater than that of the sun. The personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, his innumerable plenary portions, and the portions of his plenary portions dominate each Vaikuntha planet. In the highest region of the spiritual sky is the planet called Krishna Loka, which has three divisions, namely Dwaraka, Mathura, and Goloka. To a gross materialist, this kingdom of God, Vaikuntha, is certainly a mystery, but to an ignorant man, everything is a mystery for want of sufficient knowledge. The kingdom of God is not a myth. Even the material planets which float over our heads in the millions and billions are still a mystery to the ignorant. Material scientists are now attempting to penetrate this mystery, and a day may come when the people of this earth will be able to travel in outer space and see the variegatedness of these millions of planets with their own eyes. In every planet, there is as much material variegatedness as we find in our own planet. This planet Earth is but an insignificant spot in the cosmic structure. Yet, foolish men, puffed up by a false sense of scientific advancement, have concentrated their energy in the pursuit of so-called economic development on this planet, not knowing of the variegated economic facilities available on other planets. According to modern astronomy, the gravity of the moon is different from that of Earth. Therefore, if one goes to the moon, it will be able to pick up large weights and jump vast distances. In the Ramayana, Hanuman is described as being able to lift huge weights as heavy as hills and jump over the ocean. Modern astronomy has confirmed that this is indeed possible. The disease of the modern civilized man is his disbelief of everything in the revealed scriptures. Faithless non-believers cannot make progress in spiritual realization, for they cannot understand the spiritual potency. The small fruit of a banyan contains hundreds of seeds, and in each seed is the potency to produce another banyan tree, with the potency to produce millions more of such fruits. This law of nature is visible before us, although how it works is beyond our understanding. This is but an insignificant example of the potency of Godhead. There are many similar phenomena that no scientist can explain. Everything, in fact, is inconceivable, for the truth is revealed only to the proper persons. Although there are varieties of personalities from Brahma down to the insignificant ant, all of whom are living beings, their development of knowledge is different. Therefore, We have to gather knowledge from the right source. Indeed, we can get knowledge in reality only from the Vedic sources. The four Vedas, with their supplementary Puranas, the Mahabharata, the Ramayana, and their corollaries, which are known as Smritis, are all authorized source of knowledge. If we are all to gather knowledge, we must gather it from these sources without hesitation. Revealed knowledge may in the beginning be unbelievable because of our paradoxical desire to verify everything with our tiny brains. But the speculative means of attaining knowledge is always imperfect. The perfect knowledge propounded in the revealed scriptures is confirmed by the great acharyas who have left ample commentations upon them. None of these acharyas has disbelieved in the Shastras. One who disbelieves in the Shastras is an atheist, and we should not consult an atheist, however great he may be. A staunch believer in the Shastras, with all their diversities, is the right person from whom to gather real knowledge. Such knowledge may seem inconceivable in the beginning, but when put forward by the proper authority, its meaning is revealed, and then one no longer has any doubts about it. Very, very important words. Text number 15. Sarabhaga Ananta Vibhuve Kuntadi Dhama Krishna Krishna Avatarera Tahani Vishrama. Sarabhaga, all pervading, Ananta, unlimited, Vibhu, greatest, Vaikunta Adidhama, all the places known as Vaikunta Loka, Krishna of Lord Krishna, Krishna Avatarera, of the incarnations of Lord Krishna. Tahani, there, Vishrama, the residence. Translation by His Divine Grace. That Vaikuntha region is all-pervading, infinite and supreme. It is the residence of Lord Krishna and his incarnations. Text 16. Taharu paribhagi Krishna loga khyati Dwaraka matura gokula tridatve stiti. Tahara, of all of them, Uparibhage, on the top, Krishna Loka Khyati, the planet known as Krishna Loka, Dwaraka Mathura Gokula, the three places known as Dwaraka, Mathura, and Vrindavana, Trividatve, in three departments, Stiti, situated. Translation. In the highest region of that spiritual sky is the spiritual planet called Krishna Loka. It has three divisions, Dwaraka, Mathura, and Gokula. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Miritam Yena Tasmai Gurave Namaham Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Nityānanda Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Bhakti Siddhanta Shishyaya Bhaktivedanta Namine Prasannaya Prashantaya Tasmai Shurave Namaha Bhagavad Vandana Kadyam Guru Vandana Purvakam Kshiram Sharkara Yuktam Kadatehi Visheshataha Adadhanastrinam Danter Idam Yachi Punaha Punaha Srimad-rupa-padam bhoja dhulisyam janma janmani amsho bhagavato smyaham sadadaso asmi sarvata tat kripa pikshako nityam tat prishta satkaromi svam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityānanda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Here we have a very long purport by Srila Prabhupada in text number 14, where Srila Prabhupada explains the difference between the material side of knowledge, the material path of scientific advancement, and the spiritual path of hearing from proper authorities. It's quite significant that Srila Prabhupada explains the disease of the modern civilized man is his disbelief of everything in the revealed scripture. Faithless non-believers cannot make progress in spiritual realization, for they cannot understand the spiritual potency. In other words, what Srila Prabhupada is trying to explain here, and this comes throughout all of his preaching. All of us have read that little booklet, Easy Journey to Other Planets, where Srila Prabhupada expands upon this theme of material advancement versus spiritual advancement. In other words, with our limited senses and our limited abilities in this conditioned world, there's only so much that we can understand. But the revealed scriptures given by great acharya like Vedavyasa, great acharyas, great rishis, Shukadev Goswami, Sutta Goswami, so many exalted personalities, basically liberated souls who are not subject to the four defects of material existence: the tendency to cheat, tendency to be illusion, so many other defective problems with having a material body, that these great personalities are beyond the frailties of ordinary conditioned souls. We see in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, where Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has explained Brahm Pramad Vipralipsa Karana Patava. He's describing the four defects of conditioned living beings in Sanskrit. And then he's explaining that these defects are not present in the words of liberated souls. Arsha Bignya Nahi Dosha Esaba. Nahi Dosha, these faults, these defects are not present in the words of transcendentalists who revealed those transcendental scriptures. That is why all the great acharyas, throughout their comments, this is revered by all the followers of Vaishnava Dharma, Sanatana Dharma. And that is why Srila Prabhupada is held in such a high exalted position. Because we hear so many persons say, oh, Prabhupada was a pure devotee, he was Shaktiya Vishavatar, he was special, he was a liberated soul. But it's up to us to understand, to go very deep into this understanding based upon the instructions, the purports and revelations given by Srila Prabhupada. Now, why is this so important? Let me just read something here. Just this week, I got a correspondence from Gargamuni in Vrindavan, and he sent me a series of quotes about the position of spiritually advanced persons. Because many persons are bewildered, especially newcomers. They often get bewildered and confused by the numerous propaganda machines, especially on the internet. There's a lot of propaganda from various individuals who are posing as spiritually advanced people, gurus, sadhus, all different kinds and shape, even as Vaishnavas. And we have seen this. We see it every day. So Prabhupada explains very clearly the difference between the neophytes, the beginners, whether they're Kanishta neophytes or Madhyama neophytes, and the actually advanced transcendentalists, the Uttam Adhikaris or Uttam Maha Bhagavatas. Let me read. The first one is from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 4, text number 22. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 4, text number 22. The Vedic knowledge was therefore first impregnated within Brahma, and it appears that Brahma distributed the Vedic knowledge. Brahma is undoubtedly the speaker of the Vedic knowledge, but actually he was inspired by the Lord to receive such transcendental knowledge as it directly descends from the Lord. The Vedas are therefore called apaurushaya, or not imparted by any created being. Before the creation, the Lord was there, Narayana paro avyaktat, and therefore the words spoken by the Lord are vibrations of transcendental sound. There is a gulf of difference between the two qualities of sound, namely prakrita and apakrita. The physicist can deal only with the prakrita sound, or sound vibrated in the material sky, and therefore we must know that the Vedic sounds recorded in symbolic expressions cannot be understood by anyone within the universe unless and until one is inspired by the vibration of supernatural aprakrita sound, which descends in the chain of disciplic succession from the Lord to Brahma, from Brahma to Narada, from Narada to Vyasa, and so on. No mundane scholar can translate or reveal the true import of the Vedic mantras hymns. They cannot be understood unless one is inspired or initiated by the authorized spiritual master. The original spiritual master is the Lord himself, and the succession comes down through the sources of parampara, as clearly stated in the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. So unless one receives the transcendental knowledge from the authorized parampara, one should be considered useless, vipala mataha, even though one may be greatly qualified in the mundane advancements of arts or science. So this is very significant. Next, we will read from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antyalila, chapter 5, text 71. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antyalila, chapter 5, text 71. Spiritually, Ramanandarai Katokailhi Nahai, Manushya Nahirai Krishna Bhakti Rasamai. I cannot properly describe the discourses of Ramananda Rai, for he is not an ordinary human being. He is fully absorbed in the devotional service of the Lord. Purport. One is forbidden to accept the guru or spiritual master as an ordinary human being. Gurushu naramatihi. When Ramananda Rai spoke to Prajamna Mishra could understand that Ramananda Roy was not an ordinary human being. A spiritually advanced person who acts with authority as the spiritual master speaks as the Supreme Personality of God dictates from within. Thus, it is not he that is personally speaking. When a pure devotee or spiritual master speaks, what he says should be accepted as having been directly spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the Parampara system. Very special. Next, we have another very important point from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 8, text 200. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 8, text 200. When a pure Vaishnava speaks, he speaks perfectly. How is this? His speech is managed by Krishna himself from within the heart. Srila Ramananda Rai accepts this benediction from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Therefore, he admits that whatever he was speaking was not derived from his own intelligence. Rather, everything was coming from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. According to the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, text 15, Sarvasya chaham riddhi sannivishtu mattasmritir jnanam apohanam cha vedeshta sarveraham eva vidyu vedanta krid vedavideva chaham. I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta, and I am the knower of the Vedas. All intelligence emanates from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supersoul within the heart of everyone. Non-devotees want to ask the Supreme Lord for sense gratification. Therefore, non-devotees come under the influence of Maya, the illusory energy. A devotee, however, is directed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead and comes under the influence of Yoga Maya. Consequently, there is a gulf of difference between statements made by a devotee and those made by a non-devotee. Very important. Next, I just want to read from Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 1, text number 15. Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 1, text 15. The Lord, situated in the hearts of all living entities, directs their senses, but he directs in terms of the surrender of the living entity. And in the case of a pure devotee, he directly controls the senses. Here on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, the Lord directly controls the transcendental senses of Arjuna, and thus his particular name of Rishikesha. The Lord has different names according to his different activities. For example, his name is Madhusudana because he killed the demon of the name Madhu. His name is Govinda because he gives pleasure to the cows and to the senses. His name is Vasudeva because he appeared as the son of Vasudeva. His name is Devaki Nandana because he accepted Devaki as his mother. His name is Yashoda Nandana because he awarded his childhood pastimes to Yashoda at Vrindavana. His name is Partha Sarati because he worked as a charioteer of his friend Arjuna. Similarly, his name is Rishikesha because he gave direction to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Arjuna is referred to as Dhananjaya in this verse because he helped his elder brother in fetching wealth when it was required by the king to make expenditures for different sacrifices. Similarly, Bhima is known as Vrikodara because he could eat as voraciously as he could perform Herculean tasks, such as killing the demon Hidimba. So the particular types of conch shell blown by the different personalities on the side of the Pandavas, beginning with the lords, were all very encouraging to the fighting soldiers. On the other side, there were no such credits, nor the presence of Lord Krishna, the supreme director, nor that of the goddess of fortune. So they were predestined to lose the battle, and that was the message announced by the sounds of the conch shells. So the point is that a pure devotee is in direct connection with Krishna 24 hours days. And those misguided, unfortunate people who think that a pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada was a worker for hire, let me just say this. You need to go back and reset the button in your spiritual life. Go back to the first page of Bhagavad Gita, the original Bhagavad Gita, that is, not the edited, adulterated Bhagavad Gita, and read every single word properly. Every word. Read the Srimad Bhagavatam from beginning to end, again, the original Srimad Bhagavatam. In this way, you may be saved from your great nonsensical ideas, speculative ideas. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Glories to Srila Prabhupada, glories to Prakrita, Prabhu. Amazing discussion and reading tonight, Nityānanda. Thank you very much for this extremely blissful experience. And as all of you know, I'm traveling on the highway with my son, Abhi Charan, and this has been a memorable experience in eternal time for us to attend this program and hear the messages from a Prakrita Prabhu, who was...
Prabhu, could you put the phone closer to your mouth?
Yeah. To Prakrita Prabhu's messages that he sent over the years to us, to hear him speak so profoundly on the philosophy of Krishna consciousness and understand that he was a superstar devotee, pure devotee of Srila Prabhupada. We're very fortunate, everyone, to have all of you join us, and he especially was attending all of these programs and relishing them with great enthusiasm and in his journey in time. And this can be an encouragement for all of us to carry on with this mission. And thank you, Yashoda, for preserving Prabhupada's legacy in the protection of his philosophy in his original unadulterated, unedited books, and all of the other letters and other information that you're reading from to enlighten us all on this philosophy of Krishna consciousness without any sectarian or selfish motivation. So thank you very much. We're moving to the end of the program, and we want to thank everyone for joining us. It was excellent. And don't forget that we're looking for people that are interested in for initiation as a Prabhupada disciple. I had a question from someone today from England, and he asked me, do you initiate? I said, we do not initiate as disciples of ours, but we initiate with the Ritvik system, you as a disciple of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And if you could follow in the footsteps of a Prakrita Prabhu, if everyone can follow in his footsteps, our lives will be totally successful. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. We'll move forward with the chanting of Hare Krishna from 1965 with Prabhupada on the bongo drums, and then we'll wrap up the program with our paying respects and obeisances to everyone. And thank you again, everyone, for participating. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank you very much for everybody participating in this program, a tribute to Sriman Aprakrita Prabhu, who passed away. We're confident that he either went back to Krishna or is in a very special position on account of his dedication and his love for Srila Prabhupada and his teaching. Again, thanks everybody. Thanks Venkat Prabhu for displaying all of these various slides and everything. Very, very much appreciated. And thanks every one of you for participating. It is always an honor to glorify exalted Vaishnavas. Let us offer our respectful obeisances to all the assembled Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindubhya evacha patitanam pavanibhyo Vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances. We all offer our respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who can fulfill the desires of everyone, just like desire trees, and we're full of compassion for the fallen souls. We welcome everyone to come to the program on Saturday morning at 7 o'clock a.m. Pacific Standard Time, corresponding to 10 o'clock a.m. Florida time, and wherever you're going to be in Western Canada, Vishwakarma Prabhu. And we welcome everyone to attend the Bhagavad Gita discussion, reading and discussion. It's interesting that recently somebody criticized our format, that this is not the standard format of class that Prabhupada introduced. That's why we call it reading/discussion, to allow for people for raising points through the chat, to allow for people to raise issues, and occasionally we extend the program. beyond the hour and a half, and we welcome everyone to participate, either to contact us directly by email or contact Venkat Bhatta Prabhu or my lowly self, and basically participate. Let us know your version, your opinions, or your realization, and we welcome everybody. Next week will be very interesting because the verse that we will be reading in the Chaitanya Charitamrita and the purports are very revealing. As we can see from today, Prabhupada is explaining, Krishnadas is explaining what is the spiritual world. Because a lot of people are confused about what is the spiritual world. A lot of people are bewildered, thinking that this life is it, and that's it, there's nothing else. Well, sorry to inform you, or happy to inform you, there is another life after this life, and you can get that life. You can get that position by hearing from proper authorities in disciplic succession. Very important. Thanks, everybody. We will see you all on Saturday morning at 7 o'clock a.m. Hare Krishna, all glories to his divine grace and his bona fide disciples. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.